Guys, I'm going to be walking you through how to make this cute football zipper bag that Parker on the Porch is going to be releasing, I think tomorrow. I added the words Go Broncos, so I'm going to take just a couple minutes. I know everybody doesn't have software, but I'm going to take a couple minutes to show you how I did it in my software. I added the Go Broncos. I'm from Denver, so obviously I like Broncos. So let me walk you through that really quick. If you don't have software and you're not going to be adding words, go ahead and skip ahead. But right now I'm just going to take a couple seconds. This is my computer. I have Embrillance enthusiast software. It's about $149 on Amazon. It could be cheaper somewhere else. I didn't price shop it, but I purchased this to be able to add words to my designs. So I went ahead and brought in Parker on the Porch's football. This is what it looks like. And this is the bigger hoop. I made the 6x10. That other design is the 6x10. I'm going to make the 5x7. So I'm going to go up here and change my hoop. So I need to be 130 by 180. I'm going to click on that and then hit apply and hit OK. That's how you change your hoop size. Now I'm going to actually turn the bag because it's going to be easier to get the writing on versus doing it sideways. So all I did was click this right here and it turned the bag. Now I'm going to add Go Broncos. So I'm going to hit the lettering right there. And it brought in this, I'm going to bring the bag up so you can see. It brought in this ABC right here. It always comes in as ABC. Then if you go over here, you hit letters. Then you can type. I'm going to type Go. So G-O. And then you hit set. And it went ahead and changed it to Go right there. I must have two letters. I'm going to turn it sideways, which we want anyways. I'm going to move it up here. Then I already have this other alphabet in, which is good because I'm going to make the second one Broncos. So I clicked on there. I'm going to type Broncos. And then I'm going to hit set. So it will put the other one there. Okay. So there it is right there. Go Broncos. I'm going to pick a different font. So if I click on the Go, it's going to bring it to that. And then right here is different letter types. And when you buy the software, yours will be different. This has a lot of letters that I have purchased. So you won't come with all these same ones that I'm showing. So I went ahead and picked that one. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And then I'm going to change the Broncos font. So I clicked on Broncos. I'm going over here and then I'm going to go back down and pick. I think I'm going to pick that one. Okay, so now I got Go Broncos in there. I'm going to make this Broncos a little smaller. And the way to do that is to just pull this down. And then we will be ready to turn it and save it. Hang on a sec, I have to use two hands. Okay, sorry, I had to set it down because I need two hands to, all I did was size the Broncos and turn it. So now I have all three layers selected up here. This is the design, this is the Broncos, and this is the Go. And I selected them all so I could turn it back so it's going the right way. Okay, there it is. I'm just going to move it back into the hoop. This is the 5x7 hoop I'm doing. So I got it all in there. I added words. And now I'm just going to save it and put it on my thumb drive. And I will meet you back over at my machine. And I will show you how to complete this bag. Okay guys, I have the Parker on the Porch's football design for a zipper bag loaded onto my machine. There is a lot of stitches on here, a lot of dense stitches, so I prefer to use 2 layers of tearaway. This is 2 layers of just tearaway stabilizer on my 5x7 hoop. I'm going to go ahead and load that. And then your first step is going to be to do your placement stitching. So I have my thread in there, and I am going to go ahead and stitch out the placement onto the stabilizer, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, it went ahead and stitched the placement stitch for us. You'll see these 3 lines are where you need to put your zipper. This helps you line it up in the right spot. So I'm going to use this orange zipper. So you just really place it between those 2 lines. And if you want to pull your zipper from right to left, you will put your zipper over there. If you want to pull it the opposite direction, all you do is flip your zipper over this direction, and you put your zipper pull on this side. I prefer to pull from the right, so I'm going to go ahead and line it up this way. You are more than welcome to put a piece of tape right here and a piece of tape right here. I just use Scotch tape. And then you go ahead and stitch step 2, which is going to place these 2 lines on either side of your zipper. It's basically just putting your zipper onto your stabilizer. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that out and come back and show you what that looks like. Okay guys, this is what it looks like. Your zipper is basically sewn down. We are going to go ahead and place your front bottom fabric for step 3. I'm going to be using felt. This fabric does not fray on the edge, so you only need to have 1 piece. You do not have to fold it over. If you are using cotton fabric, you need to measure this distance and double it, and then you need to fold it over, iron it in half, and then I actually iron a piece of lightweight interfacing in between, the fusible kind. I iron it on and in the middle of the fabric, and then I put your clean edge right here. The reason you have to do that is because cotton fabric frays, so you can't just put a raw edge up to the side of cotton fabric. But I'm doing felt, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. If you are unsure how to prep cotton fabric, I did do another video and explained it and showed it in detail. That is the 5x7 lined ruler zipper bag. If you go to the YouTube channel, you can see that video, and it shows you how to prep that kind of fabric. So I'm using felt, so I'm going to go ahead with the video using felt. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch step 3, which is going to stitch this all down, and then I will come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, it's all stitched down. You can see that it's stitched around there. Now you're going to do the exact same thing, but for the top portion of the front of your bag. It's going to stitch that small little spot on top for step 4. So I'm going to go ahead and put my fabric down. I'm just using more felt. I'm going to get a clean edge right there, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch step 4, and then I will come back and show you what that looks like. Okay guys, this is the front of your bag. Now it's time to stitch the details. The first detail that we're going to stitch is going to be the ball strings, the grip part. Since it is such dense stitches, you'll see that there's a lot of stitches in there. I'm going to go ahead and put water soluble stabilizer. People call this WSS. This is a Solvay brand. I'm actually going to use something that's already open, but I wanted to show you what a package looks like. They're all pretty much the same. I'm going to use the smaller one. It's basically just a plastic that people use. They mainly use it for embroidery, and it usually is used if you're going to do like towels, like bath towels or kitchen towels, or if you're going to make any bags with like furry fabric or something where your stitches will sink into the fabric. This felt's not necessarily in that category where it's going to sink in, but I'm still going to use it to give you a cleaner look on here. You don't have to. Your bag will still turn out great. This is just going to make the stitches look more crisp and they won't sink in at all. And I like to use it on stitches that are super dense. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the bag, and then I'll show you it before I start stitching. Okay guys, all I did is cut a piece of the stabilizer. It's just like a thin plastic, and I put it over, and I'm gonna go ahead and stitch onto this. The reason they call this water stabilizer is because you can get rid of it with like a damp cloth. I normally just tear it all off, but if it gets stuck in places, you can take like a damp cloth and you can dab it and it dissolves. So that's why they call it that. But I'm going to go ahead and stitch on this, and I will show you what it looks like once these laces, this football laces, are stitched. Okay guys, this is what it looks like when it's stitched on this WSS water soluble stabilizer. I'm going to go ahead and stitch the next step, which is the side bands. I'm going to keep it white. So I'm going to go ahead and just start stitching that and keep it on the WSS, and I will come back and show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, those details are done stitching down. Now, if you're not adding words, you would move on to the next step, and that's what's on your machine. It's going to be the last step. I'm going to come back to that step. So I don't know how familiar you guys are with your machines. My machine's a little different, but I'm sure the icons are pretty similar. I'm going to skip the step and go to the words that I put. They end up being at the end. So in order to do that, I need to get to my steps. So if you push the button that looks like that, then these, I don't know if you're familiar, but these jump stitches, like individual stitches. Like this will go back 10 stitches, forward 10 stitches. So if your machine, if the string breaks or something, then I always go back. Mine ends up, I know exactly how many, mine ends up being 23 steps if my string breaks to go back to get to the place where it needs to be. But you can push back and forward. But another story, I'm going to skip steps. These are the steps. So right now it's showing finishing the back. I'm going to go one step forward and it has my words. And if I go another step, it's going to have the go. So I'm going to back up one step. It doesn't matter which one goes first. But I'm going to go ahead and change my thread to orange. It's still white. And then I'm going to come back and stitch the word Broncos. So I'll be back and show you that. Okay guys, the Broncos went ahead and stitched. So I'm going to stitch the next step that I added to the bag, which is go. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, here's the design with the go. Now my machine's automatically going to say that I'm done, I'm finished sewing, but we actually aren't. We need to jump back to do the back liner. And the only reason my machine thinks that is because I put words at the end and I skipped the last step of the bag. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to skip steps until I get to the back of the bag. And it's that one. This is the one that goes all the way around the bag, and this is the last step. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my hoop off, and I'm going to take off the stabilizer because I don't want it sandwiched between the two pieces of felt, and all you do is tear. So it comes off pretty easy, and I'm not going to get it real clean right now. I'm just going to get it so it doesn't sandwich between the two pieces of felt. Okay, so that's good enough. I can get the rest off later, but you can see it comes off really pretty easy. It's not that hard to take off, but it made the stitches look really good. So the next step we need to do is we're going to put the back of our bag on. So we need to open that zipper. So my zipper's right here. And I'm going to go ahead and open it. And I'm going to open it just to the edge, not past these stitches, because this next step's going to stitch all the way around the bag, so you don't want to get your zipper caught in it, and you want to make sure your zipper's inside your bag. You also don't want it really small. You want to open it quite a bit because you're going to turn through this hole, and it's hard to turn if you have it just that small. So you want to open it pretty big, but not past the stitches on that side. So the next step, if you want to add like a lobster claw, this is where you would do it too, which is basically just a clip. I'm not going to add it to this. If you want to see that, you can go to some of my other videos, but I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and I'm going to stitch the last step. So let's go over here and see. Okay, it's on. Just make sure your fabric's past all those stitches, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch it, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, the bag is done. This is what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and take it off of my hoop. Okay, I'm going to take off the tearaway. It's going to be a little harder to get off because it's 2 layers, but I'm just going to pull hard. Okay. Now there's stabilizer in here. I'm going to take all of this off here too. I'm going to first just get the zipper. So I'm just pushing in on this where I had it open. That's where the zipper opening is. So it's going to open that up, and that's going to make it easier to pull it. You will have these little strings that are in here, and they're going to feel really hard. You're going to just tear those. They're not going to break your bag. That's just the placement stitch of the zipper. You don't need that. And then I'm just going to start just tearing this off. It might help to have like a little poker or something, but just because it's 2 layers. But you're going to want to tear all this off and then clean it up. And I'm going to ignore it for now because it's going to take a little bit, but clean all of this off. And I'm going to go ahead. This is someone asked in another video when the zipper gets cut off. This is when it gets cut off. This is, you can see this is the zipper. We're going to cut all the way around this bag. You can see this side too. Just don't cut the stitches. You can cut the zipper and everything else. It's going to require heavy duty scissors. But I'm going to just show you that I'm just going to cut all the way around here. Just close up, but not on the stitches. Okay, we have it cut all the way out. Now, remember to clean all this up. I'm ignoring it because it's going to take a little while. I'll do it later. Now, this is your zipper hole. We're going to turn through this hole. So I'm just going to open it up, and I'm just going to push the bag through. And I use felt for this, so it's pretty easy. If you use vinyl, it's going to be a little more challenging, just because this fabric's easier. And I'm just pushing up on it so you get all your corners out. Okay, and then I'm gonna push the top part out. Okay, and then you can like close your zipper. I'm just gonna fold it down real quick on to get its shape. And there you go. It's your football zipper bag. Now I'm going to clean off the water stabilizer that's still on here. I'm just going to pull it off. There's another little tool that's amazing at this. Hold on, let me find it. I'm going to show you this tool. It is called Seam Fix. Sorry, see if I can get a good look on it. And it's just basically it has a stitch remover thing. The thing that's nice about this, especially with WSS stabilizer, it has this rubbery tip, and it makes taking these little spots off really easy. See how I just rub it and it just comes right off. I'm gonna rub it. It came right off. This is a really neat tool for taking off stabilizer. So I thought I'd show you that. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the bag. I'm going to pull off all the stabilizer, but it is done. Hope that helps anybody out there. Enjoy and subscribe if you like my tutorials. Thanks so much. Bye. I was going to show you one more thing. I forgot. This is the 5x7 that we just made. And then that's the 6x10 version. I was just going to show you the size differences of the two. And I made a cute little pom-pom for it. Oh, cute. Thank you.